does get a little confusing. So just ask us if you need any help. But right now, all you need to worry about is getting an intro. That's your first class you need. In order to take any of the other ones, you have to have intro to art. Okay, now if you are in 8th grade advanced, you have the option of potentially skipping intro if you qualify. So I'm sure Ms. Honorado will tell you all about that. Also, you can now take photo 1 as a freshman if you have had or skipped intro. So that's an awesome as well. Can you go back to that little map? All right, so here's the way it works. You have to have intro, and then you can go 3 different routes. You can go on the left, drawing, painting, into 2D design 3. So that's what we call the 2D route, drawing and painting. And then the middle one is the 3D route, sculpture, ceramics, 3D, into AP. And then the third one is photography, photo 1, photo 2, plus any of the other credits into AP. So those are 3 ways you get to AP by senior year. The advanced classes are all full year, and AP is a full year as well. So if you're interested in getting AP art, what you need to know now is that you have to squeeze a lot in freshman and sophomore year so that you can have junior and senior year free for the advanced classes. So you need to take classes for sure next year to get there, specifically drawing, sculpture, and photography. Another change is next year you can take any of those blues after you have intro. Drawing, painting, sculpture, ceramics, and photography. Okay? So you have a lot of options, a lot of fun options. Can you flip through the pictures and I'll make it quick. You just keep going with these. Intro is a mix of 2D and 3D. Do a little bit of everything. Learning color, learning how to draw, more on top of what you already know. Then drawing is the more basic drawing technique. More in-depth learning how to train your brain how to draw what you see. And then painting is learning color theory and how to get what's in your head on paper. Then we have sculpture. Sculpture is building things out of any material and how to make them work in 3-dimensional form. And then ceramics is more pottery, clay-based. So that class is fully of clay. And then we have the photography, is digital photography. Then we do a lot of photoshopping and regular, just learning the camera, the photography one, learning how to create interesting compositions. So those are the basic ones. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. My name is Brooke, or just ask Ms. Honorable. She'll know as well. Okay?
Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Derringer. I teach 2 classes in the high school. One class is chamber singers, which is 9th through 12th grade. One of the few elective courses that you can take where you're in with seniors and juniors. It's a very, very fun class. We do lots and lots of performances throughout the year, both here on campus and off campus. This last year we took a trip to Washington, D.C. with the band, the symphonic band, and we performed at the Navy Memorial up there. So there's just lots of things that we do. And who in here is involved in Once Upon a Mattress? Anybody? Anybody come and see Avocado this year? Awesome. Well, if you're at all interested in the musicals here, Chamber Singers is a really, really good way to get daily coaching on proper vocal production and just reading and just keeping your voice in shape for those musicals if some of you guys have an itch to do that in high school. The other class that I teach is in its 2nd year here at Wesleyan. It was new last year, and that is class piano. Anybody in here ever taken piano lessons before? Raise your hand. Anybody in here interested in learning how to play the piano? It's a great instrument. Class piano is open once again to all grades, 9th through 12th grade. You're allowed to sign up for class piano for 2 semesters. It is a semester course. You can sign up for it twice in high school. I've had several students do that already, and it's really great because they get to build on those skills in the 2nd semester that they learned in the 1st semester. I neglected to mention, as class piano is a semester-long course, Chamber Singers is a year-long course. So when you sign up for it, you're in there for the entire year. So those are the 2 classes that I teach. Anybody have any questions about either of those? Awesome. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
All right, guys. I'm Coach Wire. I'm going to talk about the PE electives. So, as Ms. Hanlon mentioned, we're talking about electives. Depending on how you choose to take your health course, can determine how many electives, how many spaces you have for an elective. You can either take it during the year with me, or you can opt to take the online version that we offer over the summer. If you do that, that opens up another semester slot for another elective, whether that be PE, music, any other fine art, any other elective. It just creates some more space in your schedule for that. It is not required that you take it over summer. It is an additional cost. Like right around $400. But we'll be sending out a packet with more information on the online course. It lasts about 6 weeks, but it's different than a traditional course. Everything is kind of online modules, and there'll be an instructor assigned through the online learning company that we use over the summer. And we'll have an informational session later this semester if you want to ask, if you think you want to sign up or have more questions or anything like that. But it's a great way to free up space in your schedule so you can take additional electives. If not, the regular health course is offered during the year, either semester of your freshman year, and that's obviously included as part of the tuition. That's your health credit. The other electives that are offered, if you were to take the online version, you could opt to take one of these instead. We have 2 different strength and conditioning classes. Next year, this is going to be the first year we offer a girls-only strength and conditioning class the idea is to try to separate the genders so that we can gear the class more specifically to the needs of each student. But if you're considering yourself a high school athlete, I think it's a great way to better prepare yourself for whatever your sport may be. But we want to encourage anybody that's interested. It's a great way to just learn more about your own physical fitness and things you can do to help improve yourself. Either Coach Wolf or myself will teach the class. There's course descriptions for any of our electives on the website. If you go either under the course guide, under high school academics, or on the strength and conditioning page on the website. If you have any questions about health versus online health, or one of the strength and conditioning courses, feel free to ask me or any of the other middle school PE teachers. They can try to help answer your questions. And just with the strength and conditioning course, our long-term goal is to get that stuff taken care of during the day. So for those of you in the high school, a big part of athletics is our teams come in before or after practice to do extra work. The idea is to take care of that work during the day so that when practice is done, we can get you out of here earlier. So that's kind of our long-term goal as far as that course. But if you have any questions, just ask me or William.
Hello, I'm Mr. Broyles, Director of Theater. I teach 2 theater classes in the high school, Theater 1 and 2. You will only be eligible to take Theater 1. It's a basic sort of theater appreciation class. We read a lot of plays. We do some scene work. We do a lot of warm-up work. Do a little bit of improv work in that class. Theater 2 is a much more advanced class where you have to memorize larger scenes, monologues, scenes with partners, and there's also a writing element in that one as well, where if you'd like to write, you can actually write a short play, a short dramatic sketch, and get performed. We'll also even do sketches for TV. So we'll actually pull out the camera and do it like a TV shoot or a film shoot. So, but that will come later after you take Theater 1 or you get any introductory fine arts classes. The other 2 classes I teach are public speaking, which you're all eligible to take. We're in the middle of a public speaking class right now. You have to do a minimum of 6 speech presentations in that class. We go through a lot of details on how to do that. I don't just throw you out there and say start talking. I tell you how to put together a speech, and then you sort of do the plug and play, you put the things in you need, and then you start giving your speeches. The last class that I teach is American Movie. It's a pretty cool class. We do watch a lot of movies in that class. You have to write reviews on what you see, and we discuss a lot of different things about worldview in film. We also talk about film techniques and styles and genres. We also do some reading in that class. There's a book that's a part of that class that you read, and you respond to the reading as well. So that's the 4, Theater 1 and 2. You can take a Theater 1 next year, and there's public speaking, which you can also take next year, and then American Movie, which is a sophomore, junior, senior class you can take later. All right? Thank you very much.
Everybody stand up. Stand up. Stretch. Yay. And sit back down. All right. I know I always started to glaze over, so I figured it should be good to stretch a little bit. I'm Mr. Foster. I'm the high school band director here. I direct the marching band, but what I want to talk to you about today is completely different than that. I want to talk about the classes that I teach. Obviously, I teach high school band classes. Those are separated by woodwind, brass, and percussion. And obviously, those are people that have had some experience on those instruments. Typically, we don't have people start as beginners at the high school. However, it has happened before. I've had somebody come to me and say, is it too late? And as long as they're motivated and they're willing to take some private lessons over the summer, then that's an option for them. The other thing is, some of you may have been in band and you dropped out, and if you have any interest in coming back, you can certainly do that, but if you need to come talk to me about that. I need to hear from you, and we probably need to schedule a meeting for you to play for me. Now on to the other classes that I teach that are not band related. All of you are eligible for a class called Music Appreciation. Music history appreciation might need to be called really history of rock, because we study the development of music in America, starting all the way back from the Civil War into blues, into early country and western, into developed rock and roll, soul, gospel, southern rock, classic rock, hip hop, rap, Broadway, movie soundtracks. Everything you can think of, we talk about that in class. And I also interject a lot of my own personal likings into that class. We talk about being active listeners as opposed to just passive listeners, where you're listening and you have an understanding of what you're listening to. So it's a great class. It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxed. We finished my class 2 days ago by belting out Hotel California. I don't necessarily advocate the meaning of that song, but it's a great song. So we listen to a lot of different kind of stuff. We track the history of rock and roll throughout the last century and a half. I also teach, by the way, that's a 1 semester class. Virtually no homework, very little homework. There's not a lot of outside of class stuff for that. 1 semester. I also teach another 1 semester class called Honors Music Theory. Music theory is just simply the study of learning how to read and write music. Ultimately, the goal of music theory is to have a better understanding of what you read, what you hear, and also, kind of getting into songwriting and composition. So if that's something that interests you at all, honors music theory might be a good thing for you to do. If you have played piano, if you have played guitar, if you've been in chorus for 3 or 4 years, if you've been in band for 3 or 4 years, you're definitely eligible to go right into honors music theory. You might want to take music appreciation. It's a great foundation class, but it's not required as a class to take honors music theory. You can jump right into honors. Something that you will not be eligible for until you're a sophomore, junior, or senior is a class called AP Music Theory. That, on the other hand, is a full-year course. It's much more rigorous than the other 2 courses I just mentioned, but it just takes you to the next level. So again, that's music appreciation 1 semester. Honors music theory is 1 semester. Those are the 2 that you're eligible for, and then if you're interested in picking up band, you need to come talk to me about those. All right, if you have any questions, I'll be sticking around here for a few minutes. Thank you.
I'm Mrs. Anderson. For those of you who don't know me, I want to tell you about the technology electives that you have available. And first of all, I want you to understand that all of these classes, there's only one that has approved prerequisites. So basically, there are no prerequisites. They are open to grades 9 through 12. They have no homework or very, very little homework, and there's no exam, and they're semester-long courses. There are two basic areas in technology electives. One is computer programming, and the other one I'm going to call creative with Adobe. It's not exclusively Adobe, but that's basically what it is. For computer programming, I will talk about these in a minute just individually. Fundamentals of programming. There is a science elective that you can actually take called physics and engineering with robotics. And we have media computation with Java, which kind of leads into AP computer science as a sophomore or through senior year. Then we have the creative, non-programming courses, advanced computer applications, animated graphic design, digital filmmaking, and web design. So first we'll talk about fundamentals of programming, and the focus, y'all, is on fun. We use Alice, Storytelling Alice. Some of you have used it in media tech, and more than 5th and 6th graders are using it. And then they also use the Lego robotics. How many of you participated in the day where you were able to see some of your 9th grade classes? Did you go into Mr. Mahalko's room? So some of you did the robots or did things with him. That's kind of the fundamentals of programming. And that's kind of a gentle way, if you think you like programming, that's a real gentle way of testing the waters and seeing if you really like it. Definitely more serious is physics and engineering with robotics. However, it does give you an elective science credit. You don't have to take this in 9th grade. It's available from 9th through 12th. It's a great class to take if you're looking to go into engineering. It really looks good that you have that physics and engineering and the robotics program. You do not have to have physics before you take this class, and you don't already have to have robotics background. The next one is media computation with Java. There has been a change, and I want to make sure you understand this. We've had a few sophomores that want to take AP computer science, and up until this year, we have allowed them to do that even if they did not have media computation with Java as a freshman. We are no longer going to do that. If you think that you might want to do AP Comp Sci as a sophomore, you've got to have media comp as a freshman. That's really the only requirement that we have that you would want to consider in computer science and programming that you're doing. Now, we do not have that same requirement if you're taking it as a junior or a senior. By that time, you've had a little more math background, and we're not as concerned with that. So media computation with Java. And just so you know kind of what it's about, you actually will manipulate media. One of these is a picture that you're seeing that they have manipulated actually with computer programming. You can go ahead and start that video. And y'all, we also do web design, and what you're seeing is some of the things that we'll learn how to do in Photoshop. A lot of y'all have already had some Photoshop experience in media tech, and what we'll do with web design is bring those Photoshop tools in, add animated graphic design with Flash or Edge Animate, and bring it together as a website. This is a website that one of my students created, and you can see, click on that link.
Sure.
The girls are going to like this more than before. That it has photos going through it, and it's more dynamic. So you didn't know you were going to be able to go shopping while you looked at your electives. All right, the next one is advanced computer applications. If you feel like you just need a little bit more technology to be comfortable with the tool that you're using, this is a great course. It's kind of designed similarly to media tech. So you get a little bit of Office if we need it. You get Adobe Creative Cloud, you can do iMovie, and Google SketchUp for 3D design. So we really try to make that appeal to a broad audience, people who want to go deeper into any of those areas. Animated graphic design primarily is using Flash right now. We're looking at a few other products that may be more suitable. It can be Y'all play games in class that you're not supposed to? You don't do that, right? Some of them are flash games. They're actually created with flash. But we will do some game creation, simple games, nothing as elaborate as those games that you guys play. If you're an artist, it's a great class to take and develop some of those animation skills. However, I do not expect you to be an artist. I am not an artist, and if you saw me draw, you would know that right away. So you don't have to be an artist. We will also do things like music videos with Flash. This is one. Okay, the next one is digital filmmaking. How many of you are in media tech this year? So you've used Premiere Pro. We kind of take what you know and build on that. Or if you haven't had an opportunity to take media tech, digital film is a great thing to take. It gives you some experience. You guys live in a video world, and it really is great experience. There's so many videos on YouTube, and a lot of the NCL classes are giving projects where you're creating videos. Now, you don't have to use Premiere Pro. You can use Windows Media or Movie Maker, which you've all done in middle school. But it's a great class just to learn some video editing tools. The Spirit Shop ad that my students are working on that we might see in the green and gold with the next one.
Do you have spring fever? Come to the Spirit Shop to get your spring sport gear.
Do you want hats? And more hats?
Okay, so that's just a little glimpse of it. And the last thing I want to tell you about is the Robotics Club. This is not a class, it's a club during program time, and we'll continue to do this. We have that physics and engineering with robotics, which a lot of the team is made up of those students, but it's also open to people, the club is to people who don't have the time to fit it into their schedule, but they're interested in robotics and in the competition. Basically what happens, you build a robot and you have a playing field each year that changes, and they program the robot to accomplish certain tasks. Okay? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. My office is in the library and I'll be here for a few minutes.
Okay, so let's do a little recap. You see that you've got tons and tons of choices, okay? First thing, where can we all look to see a list of everything that's offered for us? Wesleyan website, where on the Wesleyan website? High school. Okay, it's called High School Course Guide. When you go to the website, go to High School Academics, and you'll see a course guide up in the right corner. You click on it, or you can do the long way to look for it. You click on it. What does everyone have to take next year? What are the courses everyone will take? Math, science, English, history, foreign language, a semester of Bible, and a semester of health unless you do it online. Okay? That leaves one spot. That leaves one spot for an elective, and most of the electives are semester courses. If you take health online, you've got a spot and a half. Again, most of these are semester courses. Over the course of 4 years, you've got to take one solid year, 2 semesters of fine arts. You've also got to have 4 years of science, and as Anderson was just talking about, an elective in science, which should count. So that's a bill that's new. You're going to be, you've got your recommendations. If you haven't gotten your recommendations, ask your teachers tomorrow. Okay. Ms. Anderson, that science elective, that counts towards the science requirement?
It is a science elective, so
Does it count?
in addition to their required science. I don't think it counts.
It's not one before.
Right.
Okay. Clarification. All right. You've got a month. You know what you've been recommended for. If you're taking fine arts or computer or anything like that now, you can ask your teacher what they have recommended you for. You've been recommended April the 18th, you will register yourself for your next year's classes, so you've got a month to think about this. Okay. Questions? Okay, we've got about 3 minutes, so why don't we just,
It does go to the floor. I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm sorry?
It does go to the floor.
It does, okay, so the science elective would give you another half credit at least towards those 4 years. And y'all know that if you need to count 8th grade science, you can count it as support science. But know that as long as you pass. That's a key. I'm serious. So,